Welcome back to Two Marks and a Spark. We're really late doing this show, but we got a lot to talk about. Russ, let's just start with the news. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yes.
We've really only got one thing to talk about news-wise, and it's not good. Um, so last week, right before Money in the Bank, I think it was the Thursday night or the Friday afternoon before, Roxanne Perez's address gets leaked on Twitter. And there was a person, I'm going to give them no attention, basically doing a countdown, making threats, so on and so forth. This got so serious that people were tagging Adam Pearce because what people don't realize is the approach WWE has taken with these GM roles now, at least on Raw, is Adam Pearce is not just Raw general manager. He also has a pretty big amount of influence backstage in terms of different things. He does a lot backstage. So people were tagging him because people know this. People know Adam Pearce can do things.
Right.
Pearce,
Well, I noticed on his social media over the weekend, he had posted something about acknowledging from the fans that he was aware of the situation and all
yep,
this kind of stuff. And I wasn't even fully aware of what was going on at that point.
he was
But
talking about
I knew something was up.
he was acknowledging that he'd reported it or somebody had and that it had been taken care of, but people were tagging him. They were tagging Triple H. Like this was a scary situation, so scary in fact that according to multiple fan reports that were at this fan meetup Sunday after the pay-per-view, that Roxanne Perez had a fan meetup, did not go according to plan by any stretch. There was a lot of security. I
Yeah.
heard as much as 15 guards on one person, and they were patting every single person down.
Yeah.
I don't know if they wanted people or if it was a full on, you know, frisking, but
Right.
it wasn't good. I mean, Russ, this brings up an interesting wrestling conversation. Are fans a little too obsessed? I think,
Unhealthy.
yeah.
And this is there was a home invasion. Um, she was released. Not Sarah Logan.
Sonya
My
Deville.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I remember that from a couple of years ago. And Asuka also had problems in her personal life with an obsessive fan that was harassing her. I think that was more of an online thing, but it's pretty bad, you know. She had to go post stuff telling her fans, don't fall in love with me, I'm a character on a show, get a life.
Yeah. Um,
This could have really been dangerous, and I'm glad they handled it the way they did.
there was some discussion about whether or not the meetup that she did Sunday should have happened.
Yeah,
Um,
I was thinking also, yeah, it might have been understandable under the circumstances to cancel.
I don't think it was a WWE run meetup,
Right.
is the thing. I think it was a third party deal. So that would have been a lot harder to. If it was a WWE thing, obviously, I think they would have probably just cut it off and not even thought about it. But
Hmm.
because these third party contracts for these meetups are so expensive that they're hard to get out of. They cost a lot of
Yes.
money to get out of. So I kind of get it. Um, Russ, I do want to talk about though Worlds Collide. Let's get into it. I thought
Right.
this show was very good,
I loved it.
actually.
I enjoyed it.
I actually thought that this show exceeded any and all expectation that it could have. Um, we
Right.
started
I didn't
with
know quite what to expect. I was very pleasantly surprised.
we started this show with Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana, who got incredibly over
Yes.
against the Latino World Order of Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Lince Dorado. This match was all Mr. Iguana in the most shocking fashion possible.
Right.
Octagon, Arrow, and
Guys,
Iguana
very
get the
over.
win. They get the win. The AAA guys win here. This is the,
Yes,
I believe, the only match AAA won, except for the
yes.
main event.
Or you are correct. I believe
Um,
so.
Conan would not shut up about that.
Well, that's one thing about the commentary. We had Conan and we had was it
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, and you know, Conan. I mean, I really respect the guy, his knowledge of the business and his career, but on commentary, I think he was just
Horrendous.
it's just not he was just kind of slipping a little bit. You know what I mean? He sounded like an elderly person that was getting off track. To be blunt with you, you know,
Um, by the way, I do want to point out in terms of viewership, this show that was only on YouTube, mind you,
right,
it was only on YouTube, peaked at 764,389, which is pretty good. Now, it peaked during the main event, which makes sense. I mean, that main
well,
event
yeah.
was
Anybody that
something
didn't miss
else.
it, it's up on YouTube and you can watch it anytime. It's well worth it. And
Um,
there was a little bit of English, but mostly it was Spanish.
for the promos and stuff, yeah. So this
Right,
show, the interesting part about the start of this show is they did this little ceremony beforehand with both the Mexico national anthem and the U.S. national anthem. Now,
I
Lillian
like
Garcia sang the U.S. anthem, which she's done 100 times
right,
before, but she sings the U.S. anthem and then immediately does a ring announcement in Spanish. I was floored. I was like, how
right.
the hell do you even do that?
Yeah. I really like that part of it. The ceremonial aspect I thought was handled so well.
Rey Mysterio comes out, cuts a promo almost entirely in Spanish. Um, the second match on this show was really good, actually. It was Chick Tormenta and Dalise against Lola Vice and Stephanie McCurr. Stephanie McCurr was never going to lose this match. Um,
This was very well done too. I was not familiar with uh Chick Tormenta or I mean I heard of them, but I don't think I've ever seen them wrestle before. And is it Dalise?
yeah, I believe Stephanie McCurr has wrestled Chick Tormenta before, and you could kind of tell during the show that those two were comfortable with each other. But that match only goes about 9.5 minutes. McCurr and Lola get the win. Pretty predictable result there.
Right.
We then had a 6-man tag that I thought was going to be 5 minutes, but was 15 minutes, and that was okay because it was really good.
Yes. Well, from
Lega-
what I understand that, in Lucha Libre cards, I mean, those matches are so popular that they have entire cards that are nothing but 6-man tags. And like Conan was trying to explain in his kind of his droning way that the rules are different. When your guy leaves the ring, you can go in and so it's a little confusing because sometimes they tag in and sometimes they don't, and it seems to all be okay.
Well, one thing that was made very clear on this entire show was that this show was conducted under AAA rules and not WWE,
Hmm.
which I actually appreciated. I thought that was a good touch.
Yes,
Um, as for the second 6-man tag of the show, I thought this was really good.
yes.
Um, Legado get the win. Santos Escobar
Well,
continues to.
here's the other thing too. Instead of calling this guy the son of Dr. Wagner Jr., why don't you just call him Dr. Wagner the third?
Well, I agree. Um,
I'm being a nitpicker there, ain't I?
yes.
No,
And
because
then
it
we
sounds cool to say El Hijo del. That sounds cool.
and then we had a fatal four-way that
Hey,
had no business being that great.
yes,
Just none. It was Ethan Page, Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, and Javon Evans. This was an AEW
correct.
match. This was a
Yes,
match
it
you would have
was.
seen in AEW like three
Correct.
years ago.
Javon Evans. Now he's NXT, correct?
Yeah,
Only in the last year or so.
only in the last couple of years. Um,
Okay, yeah, that's where
but
I'd seen him before.
Russ, tell me you did not feel like you were watching an AEW match for like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this a lot, and all of this, not just AEW, but uh, the Lucha Libre and the cruiserweights really reminds me of when WCW was in its heyday in the 90s. They were the first American promotion to bring in a big, strong push for that.
And what does Hunter really like? Late 90s WCW.
Yeah,
He really likes that shit. So it kind of makes sense. Well,
yes.
Ethan Page gets the win here to retain the North American title. To this point in the show, I was not overly impressed. I'm going to be honest, watching it live. And then we got to the main event, and everything was soon to change very quickly because Chad Gable and El Hijo del Vikingo, holy
This was great.
shit.
Yeah, the main event really did. It was the perfect climax. It really stole the show.
I said on the show last week that I thought this match would be at least 20 minutes. It was 22 minutes.
Okay, pretty good prediction.
And it could have gone another 22 minutes, and I don't think
Well,
anybody would have complained.
here's the thing, though. Uh, it might have been 22 minutes long, but I remember watching it, and when it was over, it felt like it had just been like it felt like it had been like less than 10 minutes. It really drew me in. This was excellent storytelling.
Um, I really do think this is going to be a match of the year candidate at the end of the year, and rightfully so. When we do our year end stuff, I think this match is probably going to come up.
Well,
Um,
I was impressed with Vaquero in AEW, and I think this is even a much better platform. I think and Ray Phoenix was great too. He could do some pretty amazing stuff.
I I was very impressed. I thought Chad Gable did everything to make Vikingo look great, while
Yeah,
also making sure he looked incredible. Um, I really hope they ditch this Americano gimmick soon.
right. They got to bring that to a close.
Yeah.
They could do that very easily.
And then we had an hour and a half pre-show for Money in the Bank. I watched none of
You
it.
did? I didn't watch any of it. I took a little
Neither did
break
I.
from TV and got some other things done.
I did not watch any of that. The main Money in the Bank card I watched with other people, so I have some notes about comments from the people I watched it with. That's
Right?
always a fun time. Um, I watched this with more casual wrestling fans that only watch really the pay-per-views, so their
Okay.
comments are kind of funny. Um,
I didn't get through it until the next day because, as you know, we were going to record that night, and about halfway through the show, I fell sound asleep, and I tell you what, my ass was dead, and that was it. So my
well,
my body couldn't take it anymore. Good
well,
thing it
this
was
show's
WrestleMania night.
at least. Well,
Anyway, yeah,
this show started with the women's Money in the Bank that was Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Alexa Bliss, and Naomi. Russ, you said last week Naomi did not have a snowball's chance in hell at winning this.
yep. I don't mind being proven wrong. I was pleasantly surprised.
Um, the when Naomi made her entrance, one of my friends said, and I quote, "Wait, who the hell is that?" Because the music was so generic and she hadn't walked out yet.
Right.
Um,
Well, I love the caution tape too because I don't know if it's intentional, but it feels like an homage to Owen Hart. Remember when he went through a time where he was doing that?
I do,
Yep.
but we, I asked one of my friends who they thought had no chance of winning. They also said Naomi, and then
Yep.
they said, "Oh, and Alexa Bliss too," which
Well,
I had a chuckle at.
Alexa Bliss would. She's still really over. She doesn't
Uh,
even have to do that much to be over with the crowd. I mean, this is her first appearance since the Rumble. Is that correct?
one of them.
Okay.
I mean, she's been on and off TV.
Okay. Yep.
Um, I thought Alexa did really well in this match. I thought Rhea was awesome. I thought this match was awesome. Definitely the better of the two ladder matches. This was 25 minutes, almost exactly, and Naomi gets the win.
Yes.
That was the shocking thing. Naomi wins Money in the Bank. That was not on my bingo card. That I
No.
was certainly not on yours.
But
Uh,
I think it's great.
we did get another match added to this show early on.
Right. This
Octagon
was set up
Junior.
during the AAA show.
Huh?
This one was set up during the AAA show. So somebody finally figured out, hey, we've only got 4 matches going into this night. We better, come up with something.
And what they came up with would have been good if they'd have given it more time. Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. What we got of this match was great, but
Yeah,
this match was 4 minutes.
but we definitely need a rematch and for that to be fleshed out a whole lot more.
Yeah. We then had Lyra Valkyria defending in a last chance match against Becky Lynch.
Yep, with the stipulations. Yep.
Oh boy. This match was really, really good
Yes.
until the finish. Anyway, Becky Lynch won.
Right.
They proceeded to make Lyra look like a geek.
Right. And then they had her start healing on Becky for some reason.
And then she attacked Becky,
Right.
which I thought was really funny.
So I don't know. I don't think they're done yet, with that.
We then
It
I
was
don't
all
remember
right.
if it was I don't remember if it was here or after the ladder match, but we then get an announcement that Nikki Bella is coming back Monday on Raw.
Right.
We'll
That's right.
talk about that. We're gonna
He's
talk
the
about
one that
Raw.
did not marry Daniel Bryanson, I'm assuming.
That is the one that did not marry Daniel Bryan. You are correct.
Okay, she married somebody else.
And then divorced them. Yes. Um.
Well, I did that myself, so been a big whoop.
So anyway, I do want to mention here. We're gonna talk about Raw today, so I don't
Yes.
want to say too much about that. But what the? Why is Nikki Bella back? Listen.
I
We're gonna talk about that Nikki Bella
it felt a
segment.
little random. I didn't know that there was a big strong fan base for her, but
There's not. Anyway, we then had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This was good, but not as good as the women's match, which is becoming a theme.
right.
The women
I
can.
we both predicted that Seth Rollins needed to win this, and it would make sense for him to win this, given the current storyline with him.
There were people calling this predictable, and I was like, yes, it was, but at least we got a really good solo Jacob Fatu angle in the middle of it.
Yes, we did.
Solo is looking like he's going to win. He's being guarded by Fatu as he climbs the ladder. Fatu grabs his leg, screams, I hate you, and proceeds to kill him.
Yeah.
Um, and then Seth wins, of course, because he had to. And that was that. Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank. And then we got a match that really, really sucked for 21 minutes
Yeah.
and was
Well,
great for two.
this was the one that I was not excited about going into. I thought that, they keep hyping. He's only got this many appearances left, and not all of them wrestling. And this felt to me like a throwaway match.
Okay, let me start by saying I think Jey Uso and John Cena, the little bit they did together, was very good. I thought those two had good chemistry, and I thought John did a good job there. I will also say I think we should just have John Cena in multi-man matches from now on because good lord, this was better than any singles match he's had.
So far, yeah, this run. Yep. And like him or hate him, you know what? You got to give Logan Paul is he's pretty good in the ring.
Well, the finish comes when Cena hits Cody with the belt when the ref's distracted with Jey Uso and Logan dead on the outside. Looks like John's going to have a repeat of WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden, a hooded figure jumps the barricade,
Yep.
runs in, beats the hell out of John. And I'm like most people, I thought it was Roman Reigns
Yeah.
because that would have just made sense. But no, it was Jey Uso. Not Jey Uso. What the hell am I saying? It was
Well,
our
I mean,
truth.
no, with our truth.
Our truth, who we just had a 30-minute segment about getting fired last week,
That's right.
immediately makes us look like idiots because he got his job back.
Well, I think maybe, it's entirely possible we were just worked, you know.
No, we weren't.
You don't
No,
think so?
no, no, I know so. We were not worked. We were not worked. If we were worked, everybody was worked. The locker room included was worked. If we were
Yep.
worked, they were worked too because everybody thought he was fired.
Oh, yeah. I
I
mean, yeah,
look,
definitely.
he was fired. His son on Twitter said, "Not a work."
Yep. I think
Truth,
it's fascinating, you know.
Truth said it's not a work. Triple H, Triple H at the post media press conference said the dumbest thing ever. He said part of the show, which led all these idiots on the internet to think this was a work.
Hmm.
No, it
He said
wasn't a
something
work.
about enjoying the show.
Yeah, which I thought was so stupid,
Well, he didn't say it was a work, but he implied it, you know.
which is so dumb because he knows it wasn't.
Hmm. He's
Look,
trying to kayfabe, isn't he?
all I'm going to say is I am very close with someone who is very close with our truth. Okay.
I'm really glad he's back. This could be a
And
very great run, and I'm glad. Well, yeah, we'll talk about Raw, and
I'm not reporting anything, but truth had come to terms with what happened. And he pretty much knew that this was coming. But in terms of his contract getting run down and getting let go,
right.
but what he did not realize was that the fans were going to riot.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's a great story.
Russ, do you want to talk about Raw?
Yeah, let's do. I thought Raw was pretty good. How
I
about
did
you?
too.
Yes.
I thought Raw was a fun show. We start this show with highlights from Money in the Bank. Da 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 da. A bunch of people are shown arriving, including a returning Nikki Bella. We then got, and maybe he was promoted for this show and I didn't know it, but I was quite surprised when I heard John Cena's music. I said, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
He comes out and cuts the typical heel Cena promo before being cut off by none other than, hang on, let me check the list. Pepsi Phil, CM Punk,
Right.
uh, Phil Brooks, among other names. These two have a very good exchange, and at the end, Punk says, "Fight me in Phoenix tonight." And Cena says, "No, no, if we're going to do this one last time, you're going to follow me to Saudi Arabia.
Right. Which is coming up June 28th. That'll
You're going to
be
follow me."
that'll be one of those afternoon shows for us,
Yeah,
won't it?
yeah, well, "You're going to follow me to Saudi Arabia." And Punk looks very not happy about that idea, but agrees. And it
Yeah.
is then announced that it will be John Cena versus CM Punk in Saudi Arabia. Russ, obviously we need to talk about this because all CM Punk has done since coming back into the public eye is shit talk Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I know. That's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that.
Um, Kind of looks like a bit of a hypocrite here, but I guess I get it because the money and the allure of wrestling John Cena one last time.
Yes.
Seth Rollins comes out and just holds up the briefcase, and that would be pretty much the last we'd see of Seth. Michael Cole, we then get a pan to Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. There is no Pat McAfee on the show. He had the night off, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Um, we then get Chad Gable on his way to the ring, and
With the accompanied by the Creeds, I believe.
yes, and then we go to commercial. We come back. They're talking a lot about El Grande Americano. He ends up, it's Chad Gable versus AJ Styles. This match was really good. There was a commercial break pretty early on, but it was a very good match.
AJ's been looking really good lately.
Yeah. We then got a first round fatal four way in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Right.
This
That
match
was,
was very good.
yeah, this one had this was a four-way.
This was a four way. This was a very good match. It was Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Kairi Sane. And it was a very good match. Roxanne steals the win after Kyrie
Yes.
hits the elbow off the top,
Yep.
rolls through on Kyrie, 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez is moving
Oh, it
on.
was a great fin. I love the finish of it. I thought it was just great.
I would not be surprised if Roxanne ends up winning this thing. I'm going to be honest with you.
She seems to be really hot right now.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm not
mean,
just talking about the fact that she's kind of cute. I'm talking about she's over with the fans.
I just want to talk about Io Sky is the women's champion on this show and was hardly seen on this show.
Right. Right. I think she deserves better. But we did have well, here, I'll let you keep going. I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
We have a whole bunch of backstage stalling before we get Natalia and Maxine Dupree are backstage talking to Nikki Bella of all the goddamn people. And as this show went on, I just got angrier and angrier that Nikki Bella was back. And I just was like, God damn it, don't fucking do this, WWE.
I just don't care.
Anyway, Nikki ends up saying hi to EO and blah 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 blah. We then get a
Right.
Becky Lynch
A nice little
promo.
exchange. Correct.
We got a Becky promo where she called Lyra a crazy bird lady.
Yeah.
This was
Right.
funny.
He does wear the bird feathers once in a while.
Lyra comes out, but it was clearly a distraction because here comes Bailey with very purple hair.
Oh, she looked great.
Bailey proceeds to beat the ever loving shit out of Becky Lynch. And that was the end of the segment.
Yeah, good to see Bailey back. I think her and Becky Lynch could have a few more good matches.
Um, yeah, I agree. Uh, we then get an R-Truth promo.
Right. This was very good.
And he basically thanks the fans for getting him his job back.
Yes. Yes, he does. And now using his name, Ron Killings.
Yep. Which makes sense.
Correct. Cut
Because if
off
he
his
gets
dreads.
released again,
Really freaked out the audience when he cut off his dreadlocks.
I don't know why. It was perfectly safe segment.
Yeah.
It was a
Well,
safe
just
angle.
yeah, that's right.
We then get Penta, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, and Sami Zayn in the first round of the King of the Ring. This match was also very good.
Sami Zayn, boy, this guy is this guy is overdue for a heel turn, in my opinion.
He's so good, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, this was very impressive.
Zayn gets the win with a Hluva kick off some interference by LA
Yeah,
Knight.
you know, and I'm like glad to see him get a win on Raw because it feels like it's been a while. He's put an awful lot of guys over in the last year or so.
We then get a backstage segment showing Nikki Bella walking to the ring, and then we get an announcement that WrestleMania will in fact be in Las Vegas in 2026. This was
Correct.
stupid.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole story right there about that debacle.
Anyway, we get the announcement that Asuka is coming back next week. Finally,
I'm glad. I'm very glad that she's one of my favorites.
she'll be in a four-way with Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vaquer, as well as herself.
That'll be good.
And then we go back to the ring, and you can look, but you can't touch. Here comes Nikki Bella. This segment was horrendous.
Yeah.
Russ, I have a lot to say. First of all, Nikki comes out and gets, mind you, she's from Phoenix and gets almost no reaction.
Yeah, it seemed a little mild for a hometown reaction. I wonder how many of the younger fans don't even have any idea who the hell she is.
I would hope all of them.
I mean, she was a Divas champion. That's going way back.
She proceeds to say how much she missed everyone. I don't believe her. Um, she then starts talking like she's a teacher talking to her third grade students when she says something very special is happening next month in reference to the Evolution pay per view. And I'm thinking, oh God, this is to
That's
set up
why
an
they're bringing her
angle.
back to promote that.
No, I knew immediately what they were doing, and I was begging them not to do it, and they did it anyway. Now, let's not forget, she was in the main event of the first Evolution pay per view.
That's right. I do
She
remember
starts,
that.
she mispronounces Stephanie Vaquer's name, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then here comes Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan comes out and she is pissed. I'm not sure if she was gimmick pissed or if she was actually pissed because of how bad this segment was
Hmm.
and she had to be involved in it. It was
Yeah.
really hard to tell. I think she might have legitimately been pissed because this segment was awful. Anyway, these two have a little back
But
and forth, and Liv hits the Oblivion, and this was horrible.
yeah. Laid her out. So she's going to be sticking around for a while. Oh, well. They can't have one show be all good, you know. They got to put some crap in there just to balance it out.
Russ, this show was so good outside of that segment.
Right. I agree. But once we got through that, it did get better again.
We finally get to the main event, and this was fucking great. Gunther versus Jey Uso. This was better than their WrestleMania match.
I've enjoyed all of their matches. I enjoyed this a lot. I loved it. Apparently there's a few fans that are a little pissed off about the title change, but guess what? I loved it.
It was necessary. They had to. The Jey Uso thing wasn't working. His reactions have gotten down. His shirts are going down in sales. So this is a
Well,
business
he
move.
had a pretty good run then. So, you know, what they want to do now is they're going to be setting up, they want to set up Gunther for the Goldberg retirement match.
Makes sense to me. Gonna beat him
That
quick.
it sounds like we're gonna, yeah, hopefully it could end up being one of those 15-second matches. Hopefully
Hopefully.
not.
Anyway, this match was great. And then Gunther ends up winning, which was a total shock.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. Did
Gunther
not
is
think they would do it.
Gunther is again world heavyweight champion. Hopefully, this run goes a little better than his last one because that first run with him was not great. Um, Russ, I would have to imagine Seth Rollins probably cashes in on John Cena and not Gunther. I would have
Yes,
to think.
yes. That would make a whole lot more sense.
Now, here's the thing. I still think Cena turns babyface again before he drops the title.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know how you do that, but I
Well,
think they'll do it.
he doesn't have to. He certainly could retire as a heel. But if they could do something that halfway made sense and didn't feel like it was just completely contrived, well, it is contrived, but they can either do it good or they can do it bad.
Yeah. And Gunther doesn't get mugged at the end of the show. The end of the show is Gunther holding the title with some pyro. And that was that. Russ, I thought Raw was really good. I thought the best show of the weekend though was Worlds Collide. Um,
I like the Worlds Collide the best also. I did. I thought it was better than Money in the Bank. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Russ, I would give Worlds Collide a B plus. I would give Money in the Bank a B minus, and Raw a solid B. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that.
I would give Money in the Bank about a B minus C plus.
Yeah.
I would give the AAA show World Collide. I'd give that like a good B plus. Really high, very well done. Raw was about the same.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a little bit of I think we forgot to mention they did have a brief promo for Mr. Iguana on Raw also,
Yeah, they
which
did.
surprised me. But apparently he is really over.
He is very over.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, I hope he makes a lot of money while he can.
Yeah, me
It
too.
doesn't seem like a gimmick that's going to last forever. But you need characters like that in Shark Boy and ones like that once in a while to give a little comic relief.
Mr. Iguana is he's only 36, so he could be around a while.
Yeah.
Just saying. Russ, speaking of being around for a while, we're going to be around a while because we're going to be right back here next week talking about all the wrestling.
Yes, we
Uh,
will.
Russ, I want to point out July is going to be chaos because we
Oh,
have
I
like
know.
14 pay-per-views. Um,
We've got and like that one weekend of the 12th and 13th.
yep.
You've got NXT Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, AEW All In, and WWE Evolution, all in a 2-day period.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We
That's
always do.
right. If I got to skip one of those, I'll be skipping NXT, Great
Oh, I'm
American
skipping
Bash.
NXT.
What's that?
I'm skipping NXT. I do not give a shit.
Although when they first brought Great American Bash back as a title, I remember that as a pay-per-view title. Uh, they had a couple of legendary matches. You remember the bull rope match with Eddie Guerrero and JBL. I
Yeah.
mean, wow, that's infamous. That's a great one. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't think that much human blood could come out of a human body and they'd still be conscious.
No, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we will be back here next week. Apologies for the delay on this show. Um,
Yeah.
enjoy the wrestling. We have a 4-hour dynamite again tonight. I'm looking forward to that about as much as I look forward to getting tinnitus. Not at all.
Well, they are leading somewhere with all of this with the AEW. It's just that they have so many things going on at the same time and they don't all interconnect really well. Pardon me.
But we are getting Omega versus Okada at All In. I think
That I think I'm looking forward to that.
that is a bright spot
Exactly.
because no matter what Tony Khan does, there is no way on earth he can fuck that up.
Yes. Do you know how many times they've met in the ring
Not
before?
exactly.
I mean, it's been more than just two or three times, isn't it?
I'm looking it up.
I just wonder what the official tally is and how they stand as far as win loss. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's got that memorized, but not
Yep,
me.
I've got it. There's a whole freaking graph for it.
Oh,
There's a rate of offense graph. Are you kidding me?
oh well, that's all right. We don't need to get that detailed. I'm just a casual wrestling fan, man. We don't have to all be anal retentive now, do we?
I'm just trying to see the win loss record.
Yeah.
This is great. Reversal rate? What?
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll research that and get back to it on the next show.
Okay, I found it. I think I found it. Wait, they've had 4 matches. One of them was the best 2 out of 3 falls,
Okay.
I think. Okay, here. At Wrestle Kingdom 11, which looks like it was their first match, uh, Okada won. Second match was a draw.
All right.
Third match, Omega won. Fourth match was 2 out of 3 falls, and Omega won that one.
Okay.
They had an hour time limit draw in their second match.
Oh, I'll bet you that's a good one. I don't remember seeing that.
It's from Dominion 2017. I might have to go find that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to
I don't
find
know.
that one.
While their third match was only 25 minutes, the rest of their matches were longer than 45 minutes, all of them. How do you only give that match 25 minutes? Those two need 25 minutes to get going.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Their matches tend to kind of unfold a little bit more elaborately.
They're slow
A little bit longer.
burns,
Right.
but that's
Exactly.
a good thing.
Same with Will Ospreay. I noticed, same kind of thing.
Also, this website I found, Pro Wrestling Musings, this is insane. All this analysis is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to see strike rate, I could. Strike down rate? What?
Well, I discovered something really shocking on the wrestling news sites online. This is going to shock you, but I swear it's true. There's a lot of these headlines on these sites that are just nothing but mindless clickbait, and the stories are just made up bullshit that ain't even true. I mean,
You
it's
just fig-
hard to,
you just figured that out?
yeah, there's so-called wrestling journalists that are complete liars and just make shit up.
You're working me right now.
Yeah. I tell you what, they lie more than Hulk Hogan does, and that's really saying something.
Also, can we talk? I don't want to give him too much attention, but Ric Flair did something really stupid again.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. He
He
stepped
called
in it.
he called Jim Ross a quote attention seeker for having a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, I think Ric Flair has got a lot of nerves calling anybody else an attention seeker.
I think Ric Flair's got a lot of nerve. Period. Anyway,
I
that's
think the
the end of
man
the
has
show.
issues.
That's the end of the show, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Next
Bye
week,
bye.
take care.